And good evening, football fans, and welcome back to another episode of Friday Night Football, live on your home for high school sports, 810varsity.com. Friends, and then there was one regular season game remains for each of these two teams tonight here at Jaguar Stadium. But before we talk about the last regular season contest for Shawnee Mission East and Mill Valley, let's first talk about the previous meetings between these two Sunflower League foes. The last time that the Lancers defeated the Jaguars was, well, it was the very same day that I got a call from ESPN and Fox Sports asking me to be a part of their Super Bowl pregame show next February, which means that it has never happened, but you never know. No, the Lancers and the Jaguars have played two times before today, both ending in comfortable victories for Mill Valley, 41-10 and 20-21, and last year's 63-3 margin, which was also played on a Thursday night. And we're going to break for the national anthem. You know, I was just sharing with my good friend and partner, David Trimble, that I think pretty much every game this year and probably most of last year, we thought we had the timing down just right. But, of course, we did not. And, fortunately, we were able to get the national anthem in. But back to the pregame. As I was saying, the Lancers and the Jaguars have played two times before today, both ending in comfortable victories for Mill Valley, a 41-10 victory in 21 and last year's 63-3 margin, which was also played on a Thursday night. In last year's game, then senior quarterback for Mill Valley, Hayden Jay, didn't throw a single incompletion and rush for a score. But the big man on the field at Shawnee Mission North that night, that was number 21 for the Jags. And you'll be seeing him on the field shortly. That's Tristan Baker. Baker twisted, turned, shaked, and baked his way to 3 touchdowns and over 200 yards from scrimmage on the ground. For East that night, then senior quarterback George Kopp threw for 133 yards. C.J. Leonard ran for 95 more, but their efforts were not enough for the Lancers to overcome the Prowl. This year, while some of the players are the same, both of these teams have gone through, well, learning curves of sorts. For Shawnee Mission East, players have had to get used to a new coach. A guy named Semino, Mark's the first name. You might have heard of him. By the way, the new head coach happens to have had a phenomenal Kansas high school football career at Smith Center High. Oh, yeah, and the same head coach, also an All-American at K-State. Oh, yeah, and by the way, he played for a dime in the NFL. Yeah, 10 seasons between the Falcons and the Eagles and the Saints and the Chiefs. Few coaches have the pedigree the new head man from East brings. Pair those football chops with the proud program who last brought home state championship hardware in 2014, and you do have a recipe for success. But guess what? I did check with Keisha and ask them if by simply having Coach Semino on the roster, will East be granted any extra victories? They said, of course not. Coach Semino wouldn't want it any other way. But what Semino has and will bring to the table is a tenacity and wildcat-like attitude already being seen on the field for East. The Lancers started the season a little sluggish, losing the first 3 games by the way, which is kind of a run through the gauntlet. Gardner-Edgerton, Olathe East, who beat Gardner last week, and Lawrence, a team that previously beat unbeaten Lawrence Free State just last week. That's a collective 16-5 record for the first 3 teams on the schedule. Welcome to the Sunflower League, Coach Semino. And since then, well, they've won 3 out of 4. Their only loss coming to Shawnee Mission Northwest. But to kind of even out the record against the Jaguars, that's really what they're hoping for tonight. A win would surely mean hosting a first-round game next Friday in the first week of the Kansas State football playoffs. Speaking of football playoffs, the Mill Valley Jaguars know a thing or two about the playoffs. The playoffs? The playoffs? Yes, the playoffs. In fact, the last 4 playoff runs for the Jaguars ended up with hardware. Championship hardware. But this year, the Jaguars have lost just a little bit of the polish and shine. 5-2 record for most teams would be a banner year, but winning 6 of the last 8 titles raises the bar. Now, Mill Valley offense we're about to see is again led by the bell cow, the steam engine, the touchdown maker, Tristan Baker. All he does is run for nearly 10 yards a carry and score touchdowns. He has a good fortune to run behind one of the saltiest O-lines in the state, led by the mammoth left tackle, Gus Hawkins. The K-State commit is rated as, well, one of the, if not the top football prospect in Kansas this year, and he anchors a line to the delight of the Mill Valley fans and the backfield. Well, on defense, yeah, Mill Valley has the top football prospect in Kansas. But didn't I just say that about Hawkins? Yeah, I did. But Hawkins in the 2024 class. For the 25 class, no player in Kansas is getting more calls from Nick Saban, Matt Rule, and Lincoln Riley than number 5, Jaden Woods. The 6'4" defensive end will have his choice at colleges to attend, but he has this year and one more to finish up at Mill Valley before he does just that. Friends, we're moments away from kickoff here at Jaguar Stadium. You got a front row seat to all the action all night long on your one-stop spot for high school sports, 810varsity.com. And looks to be, I'm not sure whether I see some smoke in the air. Feel like we should hear a Phil Collins sort of, kind of in the air tonight. Ominous night it is. My name's Sean Brewer. Glad you're spending some of your Thursday evening with us here on 810 Varsity. Jaguars and the Lancers moments away from kickoff, and we are underway. Kicking off is Ryan Dehan for the Lancers. Taking it from the 1. Sprinting out past the 15-20. That is number 23. That is Clayton Sondgeroth. He's a 5'9", 165-pound junior. All he does, he averages 40 yards per kickoff return. 40 yards. And the tackle on that one, I believe that was Skills. Ash Skills, big number 47. Also plays some outside linebacker. We're going to see him in action on the defense and the Lancers here momentarily. First and 10, Mill Valley. Baker gets a handoff. Baker's got nothing but green in front of him out to midfield. First down, Mill Valley. Tristan Baker gets things started for the Jaguars in a big kind of way. Hoffman in on the stop. Something about these Lancers just makes that number 21 go off. Last year, over 200 yards from scrimmage. Now we see Bohan running to the edge. Can't quite get around, but he does get 5. Going to bring up second and about 5.5, 6 to go. That was Baird on the stop. Well, a little discombobulation there. A little bad snap all the way back to the 45-yard line in Mill Valley. I tell you, I look down at my spotter sheet, I look up, and next thing I know, the ball's about 10 yards behind where it should be. So that's going to make it a third and about 15 for Mill Valley, and they are back in their own territory at their own 46-yard line. Single back is Baker to the right. Davian Harris in the slot. 2 receivers to the near side. Cooper Schreiber right on the line. Rolling out is Bohan. He's got a receiver. That's not going to be enough for a first down, but they do say that he made the catch. That is number 28. Andy Watts, the sure-handed junior, 5'9", 164 pounds. Brady Houghton on the stop. I think it's Houghton. I'm going to go with Houghton, Brady Houghton, number 12. He's got 21 tackles on the season, also one of the 4 interceptions for the Lancers. Back to punt, little pooch punt by Bohan, and that is going to take a nice roll for East into the end zone. That's going to be a touchback, and Shawnee Mission East, the Lancers are going to have it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line when we come back. No score, 9:47 left in the first. Jaguars to the Lancers, 8-10 varsity. Be right back. First and 10 Lancers, hand off to the right side. Might have gotten about 1.5. Stop made by half of the Jaguar defense on the left side. I think that was Hayden Heller, first man in there. Hayden Heller, what an impressive sophomore campaign he has had for the Jaguars. More on him later. This offense, Shawnee Mission East, really kind of starts and stops with number 10, Luke Piercy. He's got 325 yards through the air, but most of his damage comes on the ground. He's got a complement of backs, Henry Nelson and Nate Phillips. Phillips in motion. Little option out to Phillips. He's got the edge, gets around, and might have gotten a first down. I think they're going to say he stepped out about a yard shy. Garrett Cronin in there for the Jaguars. Make it 24 tackles on the season for Cronin. Nate Phillips, 80 carries on the season for 343 yards, averaging just over 4 carry. There he is in motion again. Under center is Piercy, looks to the sideline. Watching the Lancers on film, they like to hurry this thing up. And getting the first down and maybe a skosh more is Luke Piercy. Luke Piercy, 6'5", 185-pound senior. Doesn't need to do much on short yard. He just kind of extend his arms, and he got the first down. Beautiful night here in western Shawnee, Kansas. About 66 degrees. Winds out of the south, 3 to 4 miles an hour. So does the weather apps say. Another handoff to Nate Phillips. Evan Seifert up there on the stop. Nate Phillips, he has been the bell cow for this Lancer offense. He's got 4 touchdowns on the ground, but he can also do some damage receiving as well, averaging nearly 20 yards a reception. Split out wide is Andrus Driver. And he will not have time, will Luke Piercy. Is in there for the sack. That is Sam Coletti, Jaden Woods, Abe Schaefer, Hayden Heller. Just give it to them all. But Sam Coletti was the first Jaguar to reach out and touch the Lancer. Coletti on the season been doing a lot of damage from that right side. He's only got 5 tackles on the year, but coaches said that they're extremely pleased with his play and his development throughout the season. Brings up a 3rd and 15 for the Lancers, and they want to think this one over. Coach Siminow goes ahead, pulls out the charge card, charges a timeout. 7:19 left to play in the first. No score between the Lancers and the Jaguars. Live on 810varsity.com. We'll be right back.
Coach here has always been a bacon and cheese Whataburger add jalapenos guy. Until now, because he just met Whataburger's Southern Bacon Double. Fresh beef patties, Monterey Jack and American cheese topped with crispy bacon, crunchy slaw, and a tangy Southern-style sauce. That's what we call an edible audible. Good call, Coach. The limited-time Southern Bacon Double from Whataburger. Just like you like it.
And we are back after the timeout. Now, I don't know if you can see this on your displays. I know you can't listen if you're listening on your internet devices in your car, wherever you are, but we can assure you that there is a haze that's wafting over the field right now, very Halloween-esque. And there's a long ball down the left side. How did he grab it? That is a sensational catch by Andres Driver. The 6-foot, 175-pound senior brings it in. Francie's only got 3 receptions on the season for 17 yards, and he has doubled that and a little bit more. How impressive was that? You have to see that on replay on A10 Varsity. And a foul, personal foul, or was that a hold? That was a defensive hold. Obviously, the Lancers are going to decline, and they've got it 1st and 10 in Mill Valley territory from the 35. Piercy cuts it back up. Short gain of about 4. Going to bring up 2nd and 6. Ryan Deverell stands him up. 6:44, 6:43. Clocks are running here. First quarter of action, no score between the Lancers and the Jaguars. 2nd and 7. They need to get it down to around the 25-yard line for a fresh set of downs. There goes Phillips in motion. He's going to get the carry. He's got a first down, or awfully close to. I think they're going to mark him about a half a yard short. Garrett Cronin again. Already got a couple of stops here this evening. The 5'11 senior wearing the number 4. So far in this drive, been all runs except for that one long pass to Andres Driver for the Lancers. And the Lancers are cooking here with just under 6 minutes to go in the first. Going to keep it again is Luke Piercy. Picks up a fresh set of downs. Quiets the crowd here on the western side of Jaguar Stadium. It's also pink out. A lot of the fans, as I saw coming in, I'm not sure that they had to purchase one of those things that go up on the side of the concession stand, or they can just kind of fill it out. Yes, being told that they can just fill it out. Memory of a cancer survivor. Piercy rolls out to his right. He cocks that arm back. Like I said, Piercy's 6'5", and he could throw that ball with more than a little bit of mustard. He's got a little mustard and horseradish behind him on that one. He's got a wingspan of 7 feet from fingertip to fingertip, I've been told by David Trimble. Not sure if that's true. Doesn't sound like it is. But what is true, Lancers have it 1st and goal. It's this vaunted Mill Valley defense. 8-7 on the play clock. Piercy under center. And flags are flying. We got hankies on the field, otherwise known as a little official hanky-panky. Got our audio engineer here in the booth just shaking her head. And that's going to be half the distance, making about 1st and goal from the 4 for the Lancers. How about this? If anybody had the Lancers potentially going up first on their bingo cards tonight, well, you're looking pretty good. Very methodical, very well-coached offense, just matriculating their way down the field. Little option pitch out to Nate Phillips. And Phillips, I think he might have tripped over his own man, his own teammate. I think they're going to mark him down just inside the 3-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 3. Good job on the left side of the line. Abe Schaefer, the junior. Hard to believe he's only a junior as Abe Schaefer. Playing like a 5-year with that COVID year, senior. He is a junior, but we do see Piercy dive for the end zone. No signal yet. There it is. Touchdown, Luke Piercy. Lancers strike first. 4:36 left in the first. Luke Piercy from 3 yards out uses that 6'5" frame, extends his arms over the goal line. And just like that, the Lancers put together an impressive drive. Their first drive from scrimmage took all of about 6.5 minutes, and it looks like they're going for 2. Indeed they are. Piercy under pressure. He's in trouble. He's going to throw it up for grabs. In and out of the hands of the goal line. Incomplete. And I think that caught the defense of Mill Valley sleeping just a little bit. Very fortuitous bounce off the chest of the receiver. And the score is going to stay 6-0, 4:36 left in the first. We're going to step away for a moment. We'll be right back here on 810varsity.com.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure produce meets our standards for feeding your family. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
Call today for your free consultation for braces or Invisalign. Go Jag!
Four and a half to play in the first quarter. 6-0 is the score. The Lancers drive 80 yards on their first drive from scrimmage to strike first here at Jaguar Stadium. Quiets the crowd all decked out in pink. Bohan, kind of a line drive. It's almost a knuckleball type of kick. Return again by Watts, or I beg your pardon, that was Sondergroth. About a 23-yard return for Sondergroth. Well, the Jaguar offense, one would say at certain times throughout the year, certainly hasn't been hitting on all cylinders. And there are 2 losses. Their offensive output hasn't been near their season averages. A lot of that has to do with kind of the personnel that they've had to play at certain times. Right now, it's Connor Bohan getting the start after the injured, I beg your pardon. Daniel Blaine is on the shelf, and Bohan says, hey, I can do my very best Searcy impression. 20, dime, nickel, money in the bank. Connor Bohan. 80 yards from scrimmage. And just like he did last week against Olathe North, took that one to the house. The first play from scrimmage ties this one up. 6-all between the Lancers and the Jags. It's one of those plays that you would call kind of a get-right play for the Jaguar offense. Mr. Reliable on for the point after attempt. And there it is. What a shock. Kit Loftman. He is perfect on the year in extra points. He is perfect on the year on field goals. He's kicking over half of his kickoffs into the end zone for touchbacks. And he makes it 7-6, 4:16 left in the first. And we will be right back on 810varsity.com.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
We have the clouds have started to lift, both figuratively, certainly for the Mill Valley offense on that first play. Their second drive from scrimmage results in an 80-yard touchdown. Covered 80 yards in 14 seconds. I'd say that's relatively good efficiency. Loftman's kick. That, again, will be a non-returner. And the cowbell has made its first appearance here at Jaguar Stadium. Oh, I love the cowbell. No, I don't. But I do love watching these two teams. Jaguars respond, go up by 1 after the Lancers put together an 80-yard drive. They went for 2. They weren't able to get it. But now they have a chance to drive another 80 yards. Let's see what adjustments that Coach Strack and Coach Appleby and the rest of the crew for Mill Valley make to kind of slow down this high-powered Lancer offense. Handoff. There's number 5 once again. Going to get a lot of carries tonight is Nate Phillips. Walt Midyet for the Jaguars. Walt Midyet, 5'9", 170-pound senior. He's got 20 tackles on the season. Younger brother of Eli. Split out wide, Andrus Driver, bottom of your screen. Last time he was out there, paid big dividends. Now they're going to go the other way. Piercy. That is Grant Cronin. Little hanky on the field. Sort this one out. Sideline violation against Shawnee Mission East. I did not see. But sometimes it's not what you see, but potentially what you can hear. Not really sure what was said. Will not result in a penalty, just a warning. My mother would tell me often, Sean, you do that one more time, going to be big trouble. 3.5 left in the first quarter. 7-6, Jaguars over the Lancers. Crowd starting to get into it. Nate Phillips off to the right, but Piercy's going to keep it himself. Piercy with 5 touchdowns, make it 6 now on the ground. All the Jaguars came in and for the stop. Brings up 1st and 10 after that run. Kind of that push more appropriately. And off to number 1. I believe that was Henry Nelson. I think it was number 7. Indeed, it was Henry Nelson. First carry of the evening. Another tackle by Walt Midyet. But Henry Nelson, he's just a junior, 5'11", 190 pounds, and you could see his get up and goes. He has got some hot to trots. 21 carries, 63 yards. 1 touchdown on the year. Kind of lines up in that fullback position. Offense has a lot of similarities to a couple that Mill Valley has faced earlier this year. And another tackle for Grant Cronin, but not before another Lancer first down. And right now, Mill Valley just does not have an answer on defense. It's a lot of those chip plays, 6, 7, 8 yards. Just enough to kind of keep the chains a moving, clock a running. Of course, as I said earlier, the Lancers like to get up to the line and go, but now with 7-6 on the play clock, they're going to have to hurry to get this one off. They do. Bouncing like a pinball. Midyet and Cronin on the stop. That was I think that was Nate Phillips on the carry. It's either Phillips or Nelson. The reason that I pause is sometimes when those jersey numbers kind of get scrunched up together throughout the course of a game, it's kind of hard to see. Typically, I would be bringing you scores from the area in between quarters at David Trimble at halftime, but of course, we're the only game in town. Glad you're with us here on A10 Varsity. Trips up, somehow gets his balance back, falls down, and he falls down in Mill Valley territory. Less than a minute to play in the first quarter. Clark for Mill Valley in for the stop. 3rd and 3. 24 on the play clock, 45 on the game clock. A little third down music. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe the theme from Jaws? Is that what I'm hearing? Appropriate for the Land Sharks. Haven't been too sharkish so far. Let's see if they can stop the Lancers. No, not a chance. What a great job that front four, really the front five for the Lancers are doing. That's Isaac Dean, big number 73. Got Meet Oscan. Now, I don't know if it's Meet. It's spelled M-E-T-E, but I love the name Meet. Meet Oscan. He's only a sophomore, 6'1", 245. Sam Thackeray, 235-pound senior. Anderson Wood, Pearson Hardy. Only 2 seniors, and that's going to do it for 1 quarter of play. Mill Valley hanging on to a 1-point lead, but the Lancers are back in Jaguar territory. And you are watching it live on your number 1 home for high school sports in Kansas City, 810varsity.com. We'll be right back.
Biscuits and taquitos and breakfast on a bun. Those are just a few of the things you can make a part of your morning routine at Whataburger. Then again, with so many choices, you could make a routine of not having a routine. But would not having a routine still be a routine? Chew on that for a while. Whataburger breakfast, just like you like it.
First and 10 Lancers now moving from left to right. Lancers in their road black pants, white tops. Jaden Woods in there for the stop. Woods, the leading tackler, no surprise for this Jaguar defense. 37 tackles coming into this game. 7 of those for loss. Also got 3 sacks, which is extremely impressive considering that he's been double-teamed and sometimes throughout the season, the games that I've seen, triple-teamed. 2nd and 10. Piercy look for a little bit of room, and he's not going to get it. That's going to bring up 3rd and long. Now, typically, and Coletti in there for the stop. On the season, the Lancers, over 50% completion on 3rd down. Conversely, over the last 3 games, Mill Valley has had trouble getting off the field on 3rd down. Let's see if those fortunes change for either team. 3 on the play clock, 2. They do get it off in time. A little quick, right over the left side. And nobody there. A little miscommunication. I think he tried to get it to Nate Phillips, but Phillips had other ideas. He was going to the end zone. He was on a post route. And that's going to bring up a punting situation for the Lancers. Back to receive the click is Clayton Sondergroth, averaging 7 yards per punt return, standing at his own 10. Ryan Dehan gets a snap, lets that one go. A little bit of a wobbler. Going to be fielded at the 15. Sondergroth turns to the 20, and a great tackle on number 54. And that is Kyler Schusler, the 6'2", 210-pound junior. Saved a big return from happening. But we have a little hanky on the field. Looks to be a little personal foul, possibly on the Lancers. We shall see. It is a personal foul. It is against the Lancers. And that's going to move the ball a little bit closer to the north end zone here at Jaguar Stadium. Unofficial attendance here at Jaguar Stadium for Pink Out Night, 2,370. 2,370 unofficial attendance so far here in West Shawnee, Kansas. And Bohan lets that one go. And there was a little bit of hand fighting on both the defender and the receiver. I think that was number 18, if I'm not mistaken. Grayson Scott was the intended receiver. Good no call by the officials. Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Jaguars. Bohan can absolutely throw it on a frozen rope. His accuracy, however, has been an area of involvement. What a good run to the outside by Bohan. Is that fair to say it's evolved? His throwing ability. I say that with a lot of love because he's getting a lot of looks from area colleges because of his size, his speed, and that howitzer that he has for an arm. Injured player. 10:06 left before halftime. Jaguars still up by 1, 7-6. So far, this contest, it's really all been, it's just been on the ground. One pass that we just saw by Bohan, but everything else has been on the ground. Bohan been keeping the ball himself on a number of them. Tristan Baker scored 3 touchdowns, ran for over 200 last year. Hasn't got as many touches so far. And a timeout on the field. And for the second time, Coach Semino going to charge a timeout to his team. 10:06 left before halftime. Jaguars up by 1. Be right back on 810 Varsity. .06 before halftime, 7-6, Jaguars over the Lancers. Shawnee Mission East coming into Mill Valley with 12.5-point underdogs, according to Chance Lebo. Good evening, partner. And there's a little out pass to Tristan Baker. Tristan Baker down the sideline, cuts it back, then somehow dives down to the 12. He was stopped at around the 14. He says, hey, I can get a couple of more, and he does just that. And here come the Jaguars, wasting no time. Bohan waits for the snap, hands it off. No, I beg your, but yes, it is. Going to go to Tristan Baker again. Goes to the left side this time. Tripped up by number 20. I think that was Carter Rose. Carter Rose with 34 tackles on the season, but we have some more hankiness on the field. That's going to be a hold against Mill Valley, and Coach Joel Appleby is having a friendly exchange with the officials, letting him know that he doesn't necessarily agree with that call, as do, sure, the majority of Mill Valley faithful here. Nothing will kill a drive's momentum faster than a holding call. Bringing it back 10 yards. Ten seconds on the play clock. Breaking the huddle. Bohan. Behind him to the left is Baker. 1 by 2. Bohan's going to keep it himself. Lowers his shoulder and out of bounds inside the 5. Mill Valley can get another first down should they need it. They'll have to get down to around the 3.5-yard line. Bring up 2nd and 2 from the 6-yard line. Schreiber and Watts, top of your screen. Bohan and Baker. Tight end left. Baker. That's Bohan. Touchdown, Mill Valley. Connor Bohan. From 6 yards out, Connor Bohan makes this a 7-point game in favor of the Jaguars, pending the extra point. So the Jaguars said, hey, we see you, Lancers, going 80 yards. They do just that. Take 2 fewer plays, but result in another touchdown, the second of the night for Connor Bohan. Loftman on for the extra point, right up and through once again. Makes it 14-6, 9:17 before halftime. Take a quick break. We'll be right back on 810varsity.com.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
How about these tunes? Compliments of David Trimble. Spinning the hits all night long here on 810varsity.com. Back deep, number 2, I do believe it is. That is Joey Hoffman. Joey Hoffman. Carter Rose. I think it might be Andrews Driver, indeed. Andrews Driver. We saw him make a terrific, sensational Sunday-like catch down the near sideline. And just like usual, Ken Loftman with another touchback. And more cowbell. Well, as I said moments ago, the majority of damage both of these teams have done has been on the ground. Both teams have combined for nearly 300 yards of rushing. And we have 9:17 left to go before halftime. So we still see that. I got to figure out what is going on, where this smoke, this fog is coming from. Maybe there's a fog machine somewhere that I don't know. And maybe I'm the only one seeing it. Kind of like the voices that I hear once in a while. Run up the middle. Pushed back by the front 4. I think I was Abe Schaefer. Did I mention that Abe Schaefer is not a senior? He looks like he's a senior. He's got the size and the talent. You'd think he's a senior. He's only a third-year junior, Abe Schaefer for Mill Valley. Big number 58. Shout out Christian Raw. Abe Schaefer, 4 tackles for loss. Little symmetry. He wears number 258. David Trimble, guess how much he weighs? That's right, 258. Two tight end look. And that double wing. Little option. Piercy keeps it. Somehow he's able to fall forward and get a couple of yards. Made a little something out of nothing. Bring up 3rd and a manageable 4. Garrett Clark and Abe Schaefer. The aforementioned Abe Schaefer. How great is a name? A name is Abe. Exudes confidence. If Mill Valley can stop him on defense, it would certainly give them a little bit of a vote of confidence. But this Lancer offense And specifically, that ball carrier, Luke Piercy, has done a very good job of getting 3 and 4 yard carries, just enough to keep the chains moving. Decision time now for Coach Semino on the far sideline. 7.5 to go before halftime. His team's down by 8. He's on the road here at Mill Valley, and it looks like he's going to leave his offense out on the field, or at least that's what it looks like. We'll see whether or not they go through with it. And looks like they are. Under center is Piercy. Man in motion is Phillips. They look to the sideline. Looks like Semino's going to say, hey, I've got one more to use, and he's going to burn it at the 7:04 left in the second mark. His team's down by 8 to Mill Valley, 14-6. You're watching it live on a10varsity.com.
Coach here has always been a bacon and cheese Whataburger add jalapenos guy. Until now, because he just met Whataburger's Southern Bacon Double. Fresh beef patties, Monterey Jack and American cheese topped with crispy bacon, crunchy slaw, and a tangy Southern-style sauce. That's what we call an edible audible. Good call, Coach. The limited-time Southern Bacon Double from Whataburger. Just like you like it.
And welcome back. Shout out to Jeff Broadman, high atop the press box here at Jaguar Stadium. Always does a remarkable job, and a first down. That was either Nelson or Phillips. Cronin on the tackle, but not before the Lancers pick up a huge first down. Under 7 to go in the second quarter to keep this drive alive. Gutsy call for the first-year head coach, Mark Semino. But I love the call. Sends a message to your team. So you're trying to build a culture. No better way than kind of exude toughness and that grittiness. Piercy again. Piercy now has done the lion's share of carrying for East. Hayden Heller, part of that tackling, I beg your pardon. .6'10", 6'11". I understand the score on the screen. We assure you that it is 14-6, despite the haze in the air. Piercy keeps it himself. Piercy has no fear. I mean, he's a tall fella, 185 pounds. Not a small guy, but he's not afraid to go head-to-head on some of the best in the Sunflower League. Got all conference selections littering this Mill Valley defense. Lancers have it short, 3rd and 1. Piercy under center, quick handoff. They've got the first down. Move the chains again, Nate Phillips. As soon as they unpack that pile of beef just shy of the 45-yard line of the Lancers. Only needed to get it to around the 44. Well, let's see. Depending on the spot, might be asking for a measurement. Indeed they will. The average starting field position for the Lancers has been their own 20-yard line. For Mill Valley, hasn't been a lot better. They've started from their 25, their 24, and their 41. And it looks like they're going to be just a skosh, very technical football term, a skosh short. And it can't be more than about an inch and a half. We're only about 40 yards away, but I can assure you that it's about an inch and a half to an inch and 3/4. 4th and 1, once again. They went for it last time. And when you got a big fella like Luke Piercy under center, you think they're just going to keep it in his hands, and they do, and he's got the first down. An impressive job again. Been singing the praises of this offensive line for Shawnee Mission East. Jaden Woods on the stop. Sam Thackeray, he's got that senior leadership in the center position. 5'10", 235 pounds. Perfect size for a center. Meet Ozcan, only a sophomore. Coach Semino's doing a great job of getting a lot of underclassmen in there. Isaac Dean, 6'6", not 240 pounds, 340 pounds. Yeah, it's going to be false start on the offense. Moving back 5, make it 1st and 15. But really, when you have a 6'6", 340-pound left tackle, that's protecting the blind side, but he also can do a little bulldozer pushing as well, clearing just enough room to let Phillips, Nelson, and Piercy through. 4:38, 4:37 left before halftime. This is a drive that started over 5 minutes ago, and they're still only at their own 40-yard line. 1 second, they do just get it off. I think that kind of caught him by surprise, but a great job by the defense. That's Jaden Woods. Woods was in there, thought that maybe he had a chance at a fumble recovery, but a good job by Nate Phillips to hold on. And once again, going the wrong way are the Lancers. Coach Appleby says, hey, 4:13 left. Gonna have a second down coming up. He has great confidence in his defense. Says, you know what? Now's a good time to burn one of these. Up by 8. No timeouts left for the Lancers. David Trimble's going to give us a quick scoring update, or excuse me, a stats update here during the timeout. David Trimble, take it away, my man.
Thank you, Sean. For East, they have been very run-heavy. First quarter, they had 18 runs against just 2 passes. Those passes were pretty good. They had 8 first downs. They converted on 2, 1 third down, 1 fourth down. And they had a touchdown run at 4:36 in the first quarter. And it looks like Coach Appleby has sent his marching orders. And we are going to go back over to Sean.
All right. Thank you, David Trimble. Had to wet the old whistle. Okay, now we're ready for the remainder of this second quarter. 4:13 before halftime. Lancers, 2nd and 18 from their own 37. Handoff out the middle, and it's going the wrong way again. Trying to get out to the edge. Nothing doing. That was Brayden Peter. Evan Seifert in on the stop. Ryan Deverell throws his name in the ring as well. Bring up 3rd and long. We're under 4 to play before halftime. There's a lot of pink in the stands in honor of Pink Out, cancer awareness. Here at Mill Valley, they do a great job. I want to send a special birthday wish out to Paula Broadbent. More on Paula here in a second. A couple of stories. Well, on another timeout, and Coach Strack is out there. He is not happy. Coach Mike Strack out at the 37. And it's a teachable moment right now for his defense. Well, let's see. It looked like they were calling a timeout, but perhaps not. Looks like the back judge was... I think they were able to save a timeout. I didn't see that hanky thrown around the 40-yard line. Eligible man downfield. Delay of game. Well, now that that's been all sorted out, crystal clear. 3rd and a mile for the Lancers. 3.25 before halftime. Taken to the air, over the middle, and intercepted. Intercepted by Garrett Clark. Garrett Clark come into this game with 24 tackles, 4 for losses, but he had yet to have an interception. Well, he does now. Garrett Clark turns the field over for the Jaguars. Mill Valley's going to have it at the 42-yard line of East. Single back behind Bohan. Tristan Baker. Man in motion is Watts. Bohan going to keep it again. Bohan, 5, 6, 7 yards. Call it 2nd and 3. Carter Rose. He's done a great job from his kind of that strong safety type position. Carter Rose with 2 interceptions to lead the Lancer defense this year. And he is a speedster. 5'11", 195 pounds, 34 tackles. Handoff. And faked out everybody. Who is that? Well, he scored the first 2, and if you're wondering who the third one is by, well, more of the same. Touchdown Jaguars, Connor Bohan. From about, 35 yards out, he's got himself a hat trick. All 3 touchdowns behind the strong charging legs of the quarterback, number 14, Connor Bohan. Mr. Automatic lining up for the point after attempt. And just like that, once again, Mr. Automatic makes it 21-6. 2.5 to play before halftime. And you can hear the cowbells. Well, the cheering here on the Mill Valley sideline. We're going to step away just for a moment. We'll be right back here on 810varsity.com. 21-6, Mill Valley.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure to keep our shelves stocked with the affordable, high-quality food your family loves. We're here to ensure the products you want are always right where you need them, when you need them. And with budget-friendly options on every shelf, you can be sure you're getting the very best for less. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas.
As Loftman gets ready to kick off after kicking through that extra point, but his Jaguars up 21-6. Have a quick moment to wish Paula Broadbent a very, very happy, would you believe this? She doesn't look a day past it, but happy 45th birthday to Paula Broadbent. Paula Broadbent turning 45 years young. Now, I'm sure she feels probably 65 having to put up with Jeff all the time, but that's a whole other story. And another touchback. Paula Broadbent, a great supporter of high school athletics, Mill Valley and other places throughout the area. It's kind of like everybody's mom. Whenever you see Paula, and Jeff for that matter, but mostly Paula, you just have a smile on your face. Hope she's having a fantastic evening here, as over 2,000 others are doing as well. Here at 5900 Monticello Road. 2.5 to play before halftime. Lancers would like to get something more on the board, but that's not going to get it done. Might have had about a half-yard gain. They pushed him back. Ryan Deverell, he's fired up because he was in there on the stop. First one there on the scene. 2nd and 10 from their own 20, and I think the Lancers, they're all out of timeouts. If they can get something here on 2nd down, a little positive yardage, that might change the nexus here. Under 2 to play before halftime. Piercy under center. And positive yardage. Got a 3-yard gain. Left side, Mill Valley now really doing a good job loading up the box. Number 94, Hayden Heller. He's had 3 or 4 tackles so far. Timeout, Mill Valley, and Coach Appleby, he's not satisfied going to the locker room with only a 15-point lead. He thinks his defense is going to hold him on 3rd down. His offense is going to have another shot. So total number of passes in this entire game, let's see, 8 total passes as opposed to, 26, 33, 38 rushes, 38-8. That'd be a fine final score for one of these two teams. That's also the margin between rush and pass. Bring a scoring update on some of the other area games. And there you have it. That is it, because we are the only game in town. 3rd and 6 for the Lancers. Going to be a pass over the middle. He had a man. I think that was a little miscommunication again, but Piercy's a little bit slow to get up. Piercy a little bit wobbly. A little weeble wobble by number 10. Looks like he might have a dead shoulder. And the backup quarterback is Joey Hoffman. Joey Hoffman, just so you know, he's thrown 3 passes this year. Technically he has completed 1 of the 3, and that was to an opponent, but no completions. Dehan punting, that's trouble. A couple of Mill Valley players dangerously close, but heads up play to clear it out. And with just over 1.5 to play before halftime, Mill Valley's going to have another shot. Another shot at 6 and maybe 7. Who knows? Maybe 8. Expect to see more number 16, Connor Bohan. 3 first-half touchdowns to lead all rushers. He's in the pistol. Man in motion is Sondergroth. He's going to keep it himself. This time he tries to get to the left edge. He is tripped up. Somehow comes back onto his feet. Falls ahead for first down inside the 40. Ash Skeels, the leading tackler on this East team, in there on the stop. Bohan rolls out to his right. He's going to tuck it and run, trying to get out of bounds. I'm going to say he did. Clock's going to stop. At the rate the offense is going right now, I'm not sure that they're really going to be all that interested in preserving the clock down to the 37-yard line. Coach Appleby facing the sideline. Always calm, cool, and collected. Davian Harris into the slot. Baker gets it, going to the right. You know where else he's going. Touchdown, Tristan Baker. Touchdown, Mill Valley. Tristan Baker gets in the scoring parade. And a parade he had. He was at the front of it, followed by 3 or 4 floating, not really floating, but floats in the form of Lancers. Tristan Baker, his first touchdown of the game. And up and good. Kenton Loftman. 1:04 left, makes it 28-6. As I mentioned earlier, the new first-year head coach, Mark Semino, for the Lancers. You know, and doing a little research and communicating with him earlier this week. I remember that he did play in the NFL, but reminded me that it was 10 years fantastic career. He ended up wearing the number 99 in a Chiefs uniform as a linebacker. Kind of that same, as we mentioned earlier, that same tenacity that he brought when he was a player, when he had the pads on. That same sort of mentality that he's brought as a head coach. Long road from Phillipsburg, Kansas. Played his high school ball at Smith Center. A little bit north of Manhattan. He was an all-state running back as well as a linebacker. I'd say his choice to play linebacker played out pretty well for him. And Loftman does it again, another touchback. And there's the cowbell. Oh, well, I'm going to say that is Kent Loftman's mom because, well, she is wearing his jersey. Either that or it's just some lady that might be a little bit weird, but randomly wearing players' jerseys. Hey, this is 2023. I think at halftime, typically we would talk scores, but since there are none, I think we're just going to talk about politics and religion. There is run to the right, Nate Phillips. Less than a minute to play. One timeout left by Mill Valley, and that might be Phillips. He is down. Coach Appleby, first one out there to make sure he's okay. Might be just cramping up a little bit. Training staff right out there. They do such a great job on both of these squads. 53 seconds left before halftime. Mill Valley up 28-6 over the Lancers. We'll be right back on A10varsity.com.
Coach here has always been a bacon and cheese Whataburger add jalapenos guy. Until now, because he just met Whataburger's Southern Bacon Double. Fresh beef patties, Monterey Jack and American cheese topped with crispy bacon, crunchy slaw, and a tangy Southern-style sauce. That's what we call an edible audible. Good call, Coach. The limited-time Southern Bacon Double from Whataburger. Just like you like it.
28-6, 53 seconds before halftime. Good to see Mr. Phillips up under his own power. Right out there is his head coach walking him to the sideline. A little bit more on Coach Semino. He was an All-American when he played for the Wildcats. Coach Snyder, K-State. In fact, he was the Big 12 Conference Defensive Player of the Year in 1999. And David Trimble, if I told you that he had over 400 tackles in his career at K-State, you would say what?
That is a lot of tackles. I think it's got to be the under.
Got to be the under. You would be wrong. Wrong, David Trimble. Over 400 tackles. Second and 3. Keeper up the middle. Clocks are running. 36, 35. Sam Coletti on the stop. 24-23, and I think the Lancers are going to be okay letting this one go. 24-23 on the play clock, 17 on the game clock. Maybe they'll go for one last play, but it does not look like Coach Semino's in a hurry to send a play out. And they are walking to the sidelines. And 28-6 is our score at halftime. Mill Valley up by 22 points against Shawnee Mission East. Now, a little disclaimer here. Every once in a while we get some, I won't really call it hate mail, but we get some very passionate fans that kind of wonder why we don't play the audio with the halftime presentation. That's a very good question. Well, unfortunately, because of the restrictions that we have on YouTube and the other platforms, if we play that video, and in the background maybe there's Beyonce or Johnny Cash or really any musician that has copyrighted material, we're going to get in trouble. So it's sort of like, well, do we just go with the video and no audio or just nothing at all? So we apologize, but yeah, as soon as we start to hear the audio in the background by Taylor Swift or Katy Perry or whoever it is, we will certainly we will tune it down here. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes with some first half stats and thoughts about the game so far. Appreciate you joining us here on A10 Varsity. We'll be back with more right after this. Mr. Broadbent, I have a coupon here for you for a free food item, chips and a drink. So if you want to climb on down, certainly welcome to it. Yeah, perfect. Okay. And welcome back to beautiful Western Shawnee, Kansas. Went into the break. Mill Valley was up 28-6. As we come out of halftime, it's the same score. 22-point spread for the Jags. A few first half stats. First for the visiting team, the Lancers of Shawnee Mission East. 92 rushing yards to 52 passing yards. For Mill Valley, well, 209 yards on the ground, most of that through Connor Bohan and his 3 touchdowns, and 49 yards through the air. Probably the most telling stat, though, that doesn't necessarily align with the scoreboard. In the first half, East ran 38 plays to only 16 for Mill Valley. So East has done a terrific job of controlling the ball and controlling the pace of the game. Unfortunately for them, their average field position to start their drives, every drive in the first half started at their own 20. Mill Valley, on the other hand, the 25, the 24 of their own, 41, the 42 of East, and their own 48. Mill Valley to kick off. Kent Loffman. A little pooch. And I think he is going to recover his own kick. It went the requisite 10 yards. And that caught the Lancers a little bit off guard. So the Lancers guard, Lancers. I'm looking for help here in the press box. And they're like, what are you talking about? Well, right now, Mill Valley's talking about a 1st and 10. To start things off here in the second half. Already up by 22. But that took all of 1 second for that kick to happen and Loftman to recover his own kickoff. Bohan hands it off to Baker. He slices through for 6. 2nd and 4. Tristan Baker in that first half counted for 73 yards from scrimmage and 1 touchdown. Well, we have an official timeout, and we do have another injured Lancer. Unfortunately, good crowd over on the far side for Shawnee Mission East, making the trip down Shawnee Mission Parkway here to 5900 Monticello Road. As I mentioned earlier, Bohan from Mill Valley with 3 first-half touchdown runs. His total first half, in the rushing column, 167 yards. He's thrown a couple of passes, both incomplete. But when you can run like that, you don't need to really air it out. We're going to take a quick little break here, a little injury timeout. We'll be right back on a10varsity.com.
Shake with your points and some fries on the side with your points. You get more with every order. Get a Whataburger or a patty melt or some breakfast with the point. You get more with every order. Get a biscuit or a brownie, but no matter what you pick, you get more. Like your favorite Whataburger or whatever, 'cause it all gives you more with Whataburger Rewards.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure to keep our shelves stocked with the affordable, high-quality food your family loves. We're here to ensure the products you want are always right where you need them, when you need them. And with budget-friendly options on every shelf, you can be sure you're getting the very best for less. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
Coach here has always been a bacon and cheese Whataburger add jalapenos guy. Until now, because he just met Whataburger's Southern Bacon Double. Fresh beef patties, Monterey Jack and American cheese topped with crispy bacon, crunchy slaw, and a tangy Southern-style sauce. That's what we call an edible audible. Good call, Coach. The limited-time Southern Bacon Double from Whataburger. Just like you like it.
And welcome back after that injury timeout. Good to see Ash Skills come off the field under his own power. Looks like he's going to be all right. Probably back in the game before you know it. 2nd and 5 from the 43 of the Lancers. Bohan going to throw it. He's got a receiver over the middle. Kind of short arms that. He had Harris around the 35. Incomplete. Just had a rumble here. Is that lightning hitting the press box? As I look to David Trimble over here, he just shakes his head and says he doesn't know. Hopefully Jeff Broadbent's okay up there. Tristan Baker certainly okay on that run because he's got a first down for Mill Valley. And the tackle on that play, Gavin Baird, number 18. And we have another injured Lancer. I hope they brought the entire team because depth is certainly going to be a concern. We're still waiting to see whether or not starting quarterback Luke Piercy is going to come back into the game. He was knocked a little bit wobbly. And you know what? I think since everybody loved those commercials just a couple of minutes ago, hey, I mean, 4 is good. What, 5 or 6 might even be better. So we're going to be right back here at anthem.com.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. We're here before the sun comes up until long after it goes down, working hard to keep prices low for your family. From the cashiers at the front of the store to our teammates in the back, throughout every department, we're all dedicated to bringing you your favorite food at prices you love. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows Price Chopper.
Good to see Mr. Crutchfield walking off under his own power. Well, football certainly is a contact sport. But it doesn't look like any serious injuries on any of the Lancers that have found their backside on the turf. 1st and 10 at 37 of the Lancers. Mill Valley with a 22-point spread, 11:25 left in the third quarter. Bohan took a little bit of time now. He's going to get out of it. He's like some sort of magician. He gets rid of it. He's out of the pocket. And I know the other side's going to want some sort of intentional grounding call. But Bohan, he just kind of stood like his feet were in cement there for a couple of seconds. Now they will get it. That's going to be a loss of down. I think Coach Appleby is doing his best to lobby the official standing about 10 feet to his right. That's going to move it back into Mill Valley territory, all the way back to the 44 after that grounding call. That will be a teachable moment on film for the young junior quarterback for Mill Valley. I think Coach Appy has a point. I don't think that that's the right spot. We will see. Now they're going to keep it right there. I thought they were 2 yards to the strong. Nonetheless, 2nd and a mile for Mill Valley. Single back is Baker. Davion Harris into the slot. Top of your screen. Schreiber. And Watts. 4-man front for the Lancers. Baker finds a hole through it. Tristan Baker down to the 30. Not sure anybody's going to get him. Dime nickel, money in the bank. Tristan Baker, touchdown maker. Touchdown, Mill Valley. I think Tristan Baker kind of surprised himself after he got through that first line of defense that there was no one else there waiting for him. So he turned on the Jets, those go-go gadget shoes that he wears, finds his way to pay dirt. Another 6 for Mill Valley. 11:03 left in the third quarter. Jaguars 34-6, pending the extra point by Mr. Automatic. Those are just called 35-6. He hasn't missed at all on the year. Extra points, field goals, over half of his kickoffs find their way to the end zone. Kenton Loffman, special teams ace for Mill Valley, makes it 35-6. 11:02 left in the third quarter. We'll be right back on a10varsity.com.
Get a shake with your points and some fries on the side with your points.
You get more with every order.
Get a Whataburger or a patty melt or some some breakfast with the point. You get more with every order. Get a biscuit or a brownie, but no matter what you pick, you get more. Like your favorite Whataburger or whatever, 'cause it all gives you more with Whataburger Rewards.
.29 Jaguars spread, 11:02 left in the third. After watching the first two drives by the Lancers, and I thought this was going to be a long night for the Jaguars, but their fortunes certainly turned around through the fleet of foot running of Connor Bohan. Tristan Baker, who just scored his second touchdown of the evening. Here come the Lancers. We'll see who is going to be the signal caller. Whether it's going to be backup quarterback Mr. Hoffman, or whether number 10 is back there. No word yet on our quarterback. We'll see as they break the huddle. And Luke Piercy gutting it out, making his way back into the contest. Piercy hands it off to Phillips over the right side. He gets pushed back, but not before positive yards of about 2. Evan Seifert on the stop. Second and 7 from their own 23. And true to form, once again, Lancers starting from their own 20-yard line. Every drive that they have had this evening has started from the same spot. Deverell on the stop. And Garrett Clark getting in on the fun as well. Well, both of these teams will be patiently watching the scores throughout the state to determine where they're going to end up in the Kansas playoff bracket, football championship bracket. Phillips in motion. He gets the ball. He's got the edge. Tries to turn it up. Defense has other ideas. I think Walt Midget over there on the far side. And how about Garrett Cronin? Garrett Cronin with 37 tackles in this game, or so it seems. Garrett Cronin, the 5'11 senior, going out on a bang on his last regular season game. If things hold true, Mill Valley will have one of the top 5 seeds. And that one didn't, I think that was tipped. Indeed it was. I was going to mention just a while ago, Mill Valley, while they've put their fingers on a couple of punts throughout the year, they've yet to have a true block punt, but I'm pretty sure they're going to settle for that one. Well, that's going to roll forward. Finally stops around the 34-yard line. And again, Mill Valley with excellent field position to start their second drive of the second half. Connor Bohan. Now behind him, it looks like Jaden Scobie to the right. Jaden Scobie averaging nearly 9 yards a carry this year. And Bohan does what he does best, takes off running. And there is a little extra push. And you absolutely hate to see that. And I guarantee you that Mr. Morrissey is going to have an earful from his head coach when they look at that on film. No doubt that's more of a frustration foul, but you just got to You know, there's going to be times in life that things are going to be pretty out of hand. And they will go ahead. I think it's going to be half the distance. And that's going to set up Mill Valley first and goal from the 10-yard line. Plays like that certainly can get players injured and fans that might be on the sideline as well. Bohan hands it off to Sondergroth. Sondergroth cuts it back down to the 2. That was Andy Watts, I beg your pardon. 23-28. Numbers are hard, folks, but Andy Watts gets the carry. Mill Valley wasting no time. Bohan hands it off to Scobie, right side and right into the end zone. Touchdown, Mill Valley. Well, maybe not so fast. A little bit eager, I think, on the offensive line. You know, there's some trench workers down there on the offensive line for Mill Valley that has done a great job tonight and throughout the entire year. Of course, big old Gus Hawkins, 6'8", 276 pounds, one of the top 2 or 3 recruits in this class anywhere in Kansas. Going to be taking his talents down I-70 and play for Coach Kleiman and the Wildcats. Jack Fulcher at center, Sully Sunderman at guard, right guard, Mason Kemp, the All-Sunflower Honorable Mention selection, and number 73, Eric Pinner. More on him here in a second. Scobie, first time to the right, this time to the left. The result's the same. Touchdown, Mill Valley. Jaden Scobie with his second touchdown of the year makes it a 41-6 game. But back to number 73, Eric Pinner. He is the only underclassman on this offensive line. He follows the line of great Pinner players. Both Tommy and Timmy come before him, but Eric Pinner, he is getting the job done. You got to be certainly making some watch list in the offseason for his senior campaign. That took all of 42 seconds to go 34 yards. Finished off by a Jaden Scobie rush for another Mill Valley touchdown. Loftman's point after attempt is good, 42-6. 36-point spread for Mill Valley. 35 points is kind of that magic number if both coaches agree on a running clock. I'm not sure that's necessarily going to happen, but at the same time, you look at kind of a depleted bench over there on the far sideline for the Lancers. They have taken shots all night, and a number of Lancers have found their way to the tent. Is there a tent over on the far side? Well, if there were, that's where they'd probably all be. Back deep. Pretty sure that the Lancers are going to be on the lookout for any trickery on the kickoff. Let's see if Andrus Driver is standing back at his own 5-yard line. Not that it'll matter with Loftman kicking. He was one of the players that one of the Lancers that found his way to the sideline after an injury. Glad to see him back. Andrus Driver. 8-13. Hey, there's the cowbell. Kenton Loftman's mom or sister, or not sure who that is. She is ringing that bell. One thing about both of these teams, even though it's a pretty sizable spread, 42-6 at the 8-13 in the third quarter mark, not too many fans have left the stands and made their way home, despite it starting to cool off a little bit, around 59 degrees here at Jaguar Field. Lancers try to run over that big left tackle Isaac Dean, 6'6", 340 pounds, senior left tackle, 6'6", 340. That's a lot of young man. But you look on the other side of the line, you got Jaden Woods, 6'4", 235. Runs like a gazelle, Abe Schaefer. You know Abe Schaefer's only a junior. Third-year junior here at Mill Valley High. And a completion, the second completion of the game for Luke Piercy. He had Andrus Driver down the sideline in the first quarter. Resulted in positive yardage, about 50 positive yards. This time makes it reception number 2. 7:09, 7:08 left in the third. 42-6. Up the middle. And once again, that steal resolve of the front four for Mill Valley. Mill Valley does a great job of a lot of shift, kind of that pre-snap shifting on the defensive line, and you'll see them kind of load up the box. Really, both of these teams are doing the same thing. They're saying, hey, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to throw the ball a little bit. Well, Mill Valley has taken that and said, well, we think we can still run, and run they have. Of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, showing pressure, and look at that. Big number 5, how does he do that? He gets out his paw and kind of touches the waistband of Luke Piercy. Next thing you know, Piercy's on the ground, and Jaden Woods is celebrating his 5th sack of the season. But MJ Wash, the sophomore, coaches are extremely high on this sophomore, 6'1", 216 pound. The sophomore is already making some of the top recruiting list for his class. He'll be certainly one to watch, as will so many of these Lancer underclassmen. We've got a freshman that's starting on defense. We'll talk about him in just a minute. And that's going to be, oh my. Well, that there's a no call there. We're way up here in the press box. I'm not going to, the officials do a fantastic job. Roughing the passer. Well, just as we were watching that long pass and the no call, Jaguar made his way to the backfield, had a little party, probably had a little bit too much fun. Police were called. It was 2 a.m. Flags were thrown. All that's going to result in a penalty against Mill Valley and a first down for the Lancers. So now the Lancers have it 1st and 10 at their own 42. They had some positive yardage in that last set of downs. Looking to add to it here. Going to the right side, that's Henry Nelson. Henry Nelson gets spun out of bounds around the third, about 43, 44. All right, Deverell says, welcome to the sideline. Might have lost about a quarter of a yard. They're going to spot it just inside the 43 of the Lancers. 2nd and 10. Piercy under center. Quick handoff. And I think they're going to lose one on that, maybe 2. I think they're going to get a favorable spot. Maybe about a half-yard loss. Jaden Woods, another tackle for loss, leading the team with 10, make it 11. And Mead Oskan has just had his hands full. And from that left guard position. He sees big number 5 coming his way most of the time. Nice swim move. Going to the right side. And that's going to be a hold, I believe. Ryan Deverell, have yourself a game, young man. He has been all over the place. Ryan Deverell, 5'11", 200-pound senior. Wearing the number 16. That's going to be a punting situation with 4th and 11 coming up. Back to punt's going to be Ryan Dehan. Dehan, including the punts this game, he's punted 25 times for just shy of 700 yards, over 30 yards a punt average. He also handles the extra point and field goal duties. And another low, kind of a wobbly kick that's going to roll out around the 40-yard line of Mill Valley. And again, Mill Valley, excellent field position to start their next drive. 4:20 left in the third. 42-6 in favor of Mill Valley. Step away and we'll be right back here on A10varsity.com.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
First and 10, Mill Valley. Run to the left, 3-yard gain. Kyler Schusler on the stop. Fellow USD 232 team, DeSoto, the Wildcats of DeSoto will be in action tomorrow night. At DeSoto High, they'll be playing host to Baser Linwood. Game that you'll be able to find on A10 Varsity. Now, number 12. That is Blake J. Some would say that Mr. J, and if you're familiar with that name, if you'd follow Mill Valley over the years, he is the younger brother of Hayden J. I believe he took his talents up to Northwest Missouri. He's certainly sure to star. Talking with some of the players, they say without question, young Blake J is the best pure passer on this team. We're going to see his running skills. Blake J cuts it back. He zigs. He zags. 20, one more zag. 10, and he's finally tripped up. Falls down to the 6. First and goal, Mill Valley. Blake J, only a sophomore. Coming into this game, he had 9 rushes for 49 yards. He almost eclipsed that on a single run. Jay takes a snap, hands it off to Scobie. Scobie gets stood up, but he falls forward into the end zone. Touchdown, Mill Valley. Jaden Scobie. And Loftman on for the extra point, and Cal Bell sure to follow. Kick is up, and it's good again. Kenton Loftman makes it 49-6 in favor of the Jaguars. There it is. And there is the cowbell. When you come to a Mill Valley game and you hear that, you know good things are happening for Mill Valley. But quite frankly, as you look over on the far sideline, there's no heads that are kind of drooping and, you know, kind of that, I don't know, that sense of defeat. You see the coaches working the team and trying to keep them all fired up. And, you know, that team certainly has a bright future. Mentioned earlier that there's a number of underclassmen playing for East. One of them is number 3, Zakiah Hartgraves. Now, we haven't mentioned his name a lot, but he's been in on a number of plays. He's just a freshman, 6'2", 205 pounds, 13 tackles, couple of sacks, 4 for loss. And he actually has a safety, the only safety that East has recorded this year. Credited to number 3. The 2 credits to the 3. I'll take this opportunity to say a big happy birthday to a couple of very special ladies, Linda Roth and Paula Broadbent. Paula Broadbent hit the magic full row earlier this week. Happy birthday, Paula Broadbent. And for the first time, Loftman is starting to run out of gas. He's been kicking so much, he didn't get that one into the end zone. But this will be the best starting position this entire game for the Lancers of Shawnee Mission East, where they'll start at the 26-yard line. Down by 43 to Mill Valley. 2:42 left in the third quarter. As mentioned earlier, Shawnee Mission East started this season 0-3, but I'm not sure that those 3 could have been against tougher teams anywhere in the Sunflower League. And stood up, yikes. That was number. Starting to see some role players in now. Waylon Shank from his Mike linebacker position. 6-foot senior, 208 pounds. Waylon Shank that's his first tackle on the season. It looks like Piercy might be done for the evening. He is finding his way to the sideline. And Joey Hoffman, the 5'10 senior, playing both ways, playing on defense, special teams. Now he's being asked to play a little quarterback. 5'10", 175-pounder. Hasn't completed a pass this year to his own team. He's only completed 1, and that was an interception. Pushed back by Jake Fisher and the crew for Mill Valley. Hoffman with a short gain. How about that? Mr. Piercy gutting it out. My man, number 10. Some senior leadership. Of course, we don't want to see anybody play with an injury, but sometimes there's being hurt and there's being injured. Tried to set to the left side. What a great stop by Garrett Clark. That was Taylor on the carry. Taylor with a touchdown to go along with his 19 carries and 94 yards on the season. 111, 110, 109. 4th and 7. Lancers in punt formation. So I was saying earlier, Lancers started out with a home game against Gardner Edgerton, the one-loss Blazer team out of Gardner Edgerton, one of the top in the state. Nice kick for the Lancers. Going to take a helpful roll. Only touchdown at the 34-yard line of Mill Valley, and that's where they're going to have it 1st and 10. But following that home opener against Gardner Edgerton, they had a game against Olathe East that they lost 34-14. Now, at the time, nobody's really sure, well, Olathe East, where are they going to be this year? Well, I think we found out last week when they beat Gardner Edgerton exactly how they are this year. So Gardner Edgerton, Olathe East, and then they just had to go to Lawrence, another 5-2 team. They lost that one in overtime. Some extracurriculars here at the bottom of your screen. But that was a game that East led late into the fourth quarter. There was a pick six involved. They had to go to overtime, and Lawrence squeaked out a 3-point victory. But then The Lancers came back, and they won 3 of the next 4 against Shawnee Mission North, against West, and Olathe Northwest before dropping a 5-point close call last week to Shawnee Mission Northwest. And with the last 2 and 1 second left in the third quarter, 49-6 is your score. We're going to step aside for just a moment, let you enjoy some of these fantastic ads. Whataburger Price Chopper, Performance Glass, and more right here on a10varsity.com.
Shake with your points and some fries on the side with your points. You get more with every order. Get a Whataburger or a patty melt or some breakfast with the point. You get more with every order. Get a biscuit or a brownie, but no matter what you pick, you get more. Like your favorite Whataburger or whatever, cause it all gives you more with Whataburger Rewards.
First and 10, Mill Valley. 12 minutes left to settle this one. Flags on the field, little hanky action. I think they're a little bit eager. Good to see some of the underclassmen get some snaps on both squads. Bring up 2nd and 15. Or beg your pardon. Well, okay. Ball's going to be spotted at the 34-yard line for Mill Valley. Look at that. Little razzle, a little bit of dazzle. Who is that man? He is breaking legs. He's like, who is that hockey? Was that Tanya Harding? He's breaking legs with the lead pipe. We got our next Tanya Harding out here on the field. Blake J. My man, number 12. He's got a little bit of wiggle, got a little bit of shake. So do I after that buffet I had at lunch, but that's a whole other deal. 3rd and 2 for Mill Valley. Jay takes a snap. He's going to hand it off this time to number 24. That is Jaden Scobie. He's going to be a little bit short for the first down. It's like Tim Hardaway. I think, I'm not sure that young Mr. J would appreciate me comparing him to Tanya Harding, but how about like Allen Iverson or Tim Hardaway? A killer crossover. Some miscommunication on the sideline. They're going to get things sorted out. 10 seconds on the play clock. 10:37 on the game clock. Mill Valley shows that they're going to go for this one, and, well, why not? Jay takes a snap, hand it off. Right up the middle, Scobie. He is not going to get it. Just a little bit short to the tune of 4.5 yards. Turnover on downs. So it gives the Lancers an opportunity to potentially find double digits in the scoring column. They're down 49-6, 43-point spread. But for Mill Valley, they've had an up and down season. It started with an impressive victory over Olathe Northwest, followed by a pretty massive victory over Shawnee Mission West. And Shawnee Mission Northwest gave both of these two teams a little pass out on the left side. And again, he's got some room. 20-10, he's finally brought down. Flag on the near side. Not sure. I think they're going to call a sideline violation. Well, now he pointed to. Now that's interesting because he motioned to the sideline of Shawnee Mission East. But if that's the case, then that would have been a penalty. I think he just pointed in the right direction. But I don't want to presume to read his mind. Lancers can get a first down should they need it, but they got a 1st and 10 just outside the 10-yard line. Hands it off to number 17 coming this way. That is Ben Taylor. He's had some tough runs, has Ben Taylor. Lincoln Gray makes the tackle. He's got 20 on the year. 2nd and 7. 9:37, 9:36 to play in this one. I'd like to take just a moment and wish a very happy birthday to Paula Broadbent. I understand that Paula Broadbent turned 43 years old this past week. Happy birthday to Paula Broadbent. And that one, ooh, there was number 6 up there on the top of your screen. That was Jackson Lawler. He was about a foot away from taking that one, about 90 yards on a pick 6. Bring up 3rd down. And the sound of Jaws. Shout out Roy Scheider. Trying to think, what other movies did Roy Scheider play in? Mr. Holland's Opus. Thank you, David Trimble. Trying to get a Mr. Mom reference in there. Pile moves forward to the 6. Down to 6. Big Abe Schaefer. He is a junior, folks. He's not a senior. Abe Schaefer is a 6'4", 258-pound junior. He's got a full year left. Can you imagine him lining up with Jaden Woods next year and Hayden Heller? Good grief. And by the way, guy from Mill Valley you got to feel sorry for is AC Van Reen. He's got to play second fiddle to Jaden Woods. Mr. Van Reen is a 6 foot, 205-pound sophomore. The coaches are super high on him, but when you're playing behind a potential all-everything pick and Jaden Woods, I'm sure you're going to see him and some of the others from far sideline for the Lancers. Might be 2nd, 3rd, and 4th stringers start to get some activity. Clock is stopped with 8:39. Showing now, Mill Valley has it deep in their own territory. Back under center, Mr. Blake J. Behind him, that was Reggie Reese. That's going to be trouble. I think the forward progress is going to put him out to around the 1. Carter Rose had a heck of a game. But Mill Valley, after those 3 opening wins, they ran into a buzzsaw at the time. Gardner Edgerton. Buzzsaw laid the wood to these Jaguars 49-10 right here at Jaguar Stadium. And they took their show on the road, did Mill Valley, down to ODAC, where they defeated the Falcons of Olathe South. 77-21. Came back here, had their way with Shawnee Mission South. The Raiders lost 35-0 to the Jaguars. And just last week, Olathe North doubled up the Jaguars 28-14. To lay a game, well, when you're that close to the goal line, half the distance isn't much. But every little bit certainly helps when you're just one bad step away from potentially getting a safety. So mentioned earlier, this team does have one safety. That was credited to the freshman, Sakai Hardgraves. Well, that's an easy way. That's a good call by the coaching staff. Taking advantage of all that eager energy by the Lancer front to call them off sides. That was really cool of him to run up to the line of scrimmage and act like he was going to snap it in a hurry, but not so fast. Jay stands at his own goal line. He's going to run it out to the right, cuts it back, cuts back like a razor. What's going on with those shoes? Does he have like those 4-inch metal spikes? Those metal spikes that we used to wear in track and baseball. I think I still have some scars on my legs from those suckers. Third and 5. So mentioned earlier, tomorrow night we'll be over in DeSoto for the Wildcats against Pacer Linwood. The Bobcats always put together a great team. They're 4A. Scobie, he had a touchdown. He says, that was a lot of fun. Why don't I just go ahead and run off one for about 45 yards? That's exactly what he does. First down, Mill Valley, all the way out to the 46-yard line. First and 10, 6:53 left to play in this one. Still a lot of fans in the stands, both sides. I mentioned DeSoto for a couple of reasons. Of course, we'll be over there tomorrow night. But as it sits right now, DeSoto, they're in the driver's seat, the catbird seat, as Joe Klatt would say. Look at Blake J. Just stop it, young man. That's just nasty. My goodness. That young man right there he's forcing the hand of the coaches to put him in the game a little bit more. Only a sophomore. Future is certainly bright for that young man. Of course, it helps when your older brother is one of the greats to do it here at Mill Valley. And again, right up the gut. Scobie brought down at the 27. Been watching Jake Miller here on the near side for the Lancers in his right cornerback position. Jake Miller, he's a 5'10", 180-pound senior. That young man has just not had any action. A couple of times he's thrown in his general direction, but he just kind of knows. Every snap, he looks over. He looks at the guy that he's supposed to be defending, and he knows it's going to be a run. But he's right back in there. Another handoff, Scobie. There's going to be a flag, there's going to be a hold. That one's coming back, despite the arms in the air. Oops. And that's going to push Mill Valley out of the end zone, back to around the, depending on where that was, I want to say around the 30, 31. Okay, 32. Math is hard.
Second down and 10.
In Class 6A, Shawnee Mission East. And off right up the gut. He won't be brought down. What a tough run. Coming into this game, Shawnee Mission East was tentatively setting at the number 6 seed. The loss tonight will put them at 3-5, but really, depending, of course, on how tomorrow's games shake out, they've got a chance to be in the top half of the bracket in the East in Class 6A, which would mean hosting a game next week, next Friday. Now, Mill Valley, by virtue of their 2 losses, they're still in the top half of the bracket. But as of right now, and assuming that everybody wins out, and everybody above them, meaning DeSoto, Blue Valley Southwest, both of those teams, talk about some high power. And Highland Park out of Topeka, Spring Hill, all 4 of those teams sitting at 6-1. Those 4 teams. DeSoto, should they win tomorrow against Pacer Linwood by 12 or more points, would be the number 1 seed. Reggie Reese down to the 12.
Reggie Reese in the carry for the Jaguars.
Whenever I say Reggie Reese, I think Reggie Jackson, because Reggie Jackson had a candy bar named after him. And then I think Reese is in pieces. And, well, pull the veil back on this brain. That's not a place you want to go. But Blue Valley Southwest, not sure there's been a more impressive team in 5A throughout the entire year. Of course, Cape and Mount Carmel out of the Wichita area would have a word or two to say about that, as well as Goddard Eisenhower, a team that just a couple of years ago was almost winless. And now they're sitting at the, and how about that? Blake J. Future's bright for the Jaguars. 55-6, and now we do have a running clock. 56-6, be a 50-point spread here momentarily after Loftman's automatic kick. Still, kick is up, and again, perfect on the year. You know, and I say that kind of in a ho-hum fashion, but really it's, and there's the cowbell. But, you know, we've seen the Sunflower League has just a whole bevy of top-notch special teams players. Olathe Northwest has, you know, one of the top kickers and one of the top long snappers in the entire country out there for the Ravens. Of course, we see Loftman here, and every week that we've been over here, we've just seen an impressive display of punting and kicking and returns. And we've seen an impressive display of offensive firepower out of Mill Valley tonight. 56-6. Half century in between these two squads. Loftman getting ready to do the honors. Friends, whether it's balls and strikes, fouls or flags, your referees and game officials are a vital part of high school athletics. If you've ever tried your hand at officiating, you know how hard these men and women work, and you certainly know they would never miss a call intentionally. We're all human. So we see Aiden Stanley, I believe it is, kicking off, and there's a nice kick, going to be taken around the 7 or 8 yard line. Right up through the middle, and he's got a lot of green. One man to beat, and he just beat him. Down to the 30. Doesn't need much more help. 10, 5, touchdown. Andres Driver, probably the most impressive Lancer offensively that we have seen tonight. He had a sensational Sunday-like catch on the near sideline of the first quarter. Bookends it with a run back at the 1 minute mark left in this contest. Makes it 56-12, pending the extra point by Ryan Dehan. Dehan, 17 of 18 on the season. This might very well be the last play of this contest. This game has been another production of A10 Varsity and A10Varsity.com, your home for high school sports across the entire region. Kick is up, and it is good. Make it 56-13. As always, a big thank you to everyone back at the A10 Varsity Mothership. There's Nolan and Reese Rader, Charlotte, Linda, and everybody else who feeds the squirrels and keeps the power flowing. A big shout out to our great camera operators high atop the press box here at Jaguar Stadium. Jeff Broadbent of Performance Glass Incorporated out in the the Bonner Springs, Linwood area. We got Hayden Kilo down at the other end doing some great work. As always, he's a Mill Valley sophomore. Always a steady hand as well. Next Friday, Mill Valley takes on, well, someone, and Shawnee Mission East is going to face someone. Those teams will be determined tomorrow night. You'll be able to find all the brackets for all the classes in Kansas and Missouri by going to A10Varsity.com. Once tomorrow night's games across the state have wrapped up, Rod and Bill and Mark and Jeremy and all the great folks at Acacia will crunch the numbers and post the brackets. So be sure to follow A10 Varsity on X, formerly known as Twitter, at A10 Varsity. Rest of the games this season for both squads will be exclusively available on the all-you-can-watch buffet that is the NFHS Network. You can also check A10 Varsity for the real direct links, don't be fooled, to all the game action. Once again, your final score here at Mill Valley. Mill Valley 56 and Shawnee Mission East 13. On behalf of my good partner, as in good friend, not the other kind of partner, David Trimble, I'm Sean Brewer saying thanks for joining us on A10 Varsity and good night from Shawnee.